Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another live stream. Every other Tuesday, we're here. And do me a favor, wherever you're watching from, uh, put in the chat or the comments, whether you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram, let me know where in the world you're watching us from today. I always love seeing where everyone's at. We usually get some folks that are night owls over in Europe. We get some really night owls that are in Asia sometimes. So I just love to see where you guys are watching from. Today, we are going to. It seems like a simple thing, but it it's not in a lot of cases, but we're going to show you how to convert a black and white image. Like, let's say you got a logo or something like that that was created as black artwork on a white background. How do you convert that to like print on a black shirt? It's not as simple as you think. Some of you might be thinking, oh, just click and change the color to white. I'll show you why that doesn't always work. And then, as always, if you got questions, put them into the chat. We will answer them when we're done teaching the main part. But this is a technique that is possible in pretty much every editing software. We're vector based. That's what we're working in today. But Illustrator, I'll show you guys that in Illustrator, but it will also work in Corel Draw, as well as Inkscape and GIMP and any other kind of vector based editors. Joe watching on Facebook from Georgia. Welcome, Joe. I don't think I've seen you on before. Thanks for watching the live stream. I appreciate it. Like I said, if you guys got questions, put them in the chat. Let's get into it. Before we get into it, last week I was at Mamaki in Dallas for a little mini boot camp, and we had like a massive turnout. It was absolutely awesome. One of my favorite things doing live, like in-person stuff. Like, obviously we do this with you guys every couple weeks, and it's a great interaction. I love answering your questions and kind of getting your feedback from you guys. But there's also a really fun element of being in front of people where they make weird faces when you say something that they think is not true or accurate or correct. Because definitely we have some different ideas at DTF Superstore about some of the stuff the industry has made standard for a while, even though really nothing was standard. But had a great time, met a lot of really cool people. If you're on the chat, if you're on the stream, sorry, do me a favor and give me a little thumbs up if you were at the boot camp at Mamaki last week. Randy, welcome. Randy was in our live stream boot camp, like the full-fledged. The Mamaki events, we do kind of a condensed version, but Randy was at our full-fledged live stream boot camp. Now, we are not doing a boot camp in person this month. Just too many things going on with travel for me. It was just hard to coordinate. We are going to do a boot camp in November, a live in-person boot camp in November. And then in 2025, yeah, that's next year, 2025, our plan is to do 2 live in-person boot camps and 1 live stream every quarter. So that's our plan moving into 2025. I'm also planning to spend some time in December working on putting together on-demand version of the boot camp. So lots of stuff coming down the pipe for you guys. Oh, and the thing that I'm most happy about, the leader sheets that you guys heard first here on a live stream are finally not back ordered anymore. Everybody who's bought one has received or should have received theirs, or it's shipping now. And if you buy them now, either the 24-inch or 32-inch leader sheets, they are in stock finally. I'm so stoked. Anyway, all right, let's get into what we're teaching on today. So we're going to go for some artwork. All right. Now, this sometimes it works to just do a default like invert of an image, but I'm going to show you why it doesn't always work. So let's say you got this cute little raccoon, right? And the problem is the artwork in here, and I'll show you guys by putting, let's say we want to put this on a black shirt. So let's change this rectangle, this background rectangle. Let's change it to black and see what it looks like. Oh, goodness. Okay, so the raccoon's kind of a grayish color. Not a big deal. Let's change the raccoon's color to white and see what that does. Okay, so you could kind of put that on a graphic or on a shirt, but look, isn't like the quintessential look of a raccoon? He's got them black spots around his eyes. So this doesn't work. Also, if you were doing an image like a skeleton skull or something like that, there's a lot of black and white images where doing just a straight, like change it from black to white, just does not work. So how do you invert that? How do you convert the black so that it stays black and you can do that knockout to make it feel softer? So I'm going to run you through the steps today. Let me do real quick, redo apply swatch. Okay, so I will post these steps in the comments after the video because I have to legit, I've done this a few times, but I definitely have to follow some steps to make sure I don't mess something up. So I will include the steps in the comments below after this goes live. So if you got questions as I'm going through, feel free to holler or comment and kind of let me know you've got a question. So, all right, so the first thing we're going to do is we are going to open the layers panel. The layers panel is right here on the side. If you don't see it, you can go to Windows, Layers, make sure that's checked. And the first thing we want to do is we want to lock this background layer, this black background layer. We're going to lock it and then we're going to hide it just to kind of get out of the way for right now. Next, you want to make sure that your graphic doesn't have any overlapping parts. That'll cause some problems. So we're going to make sure this whole thing is selected and we're going to use the Pathfinder Unite tool. Again, if you don't see a Pathfinder option here, go to Window, Pathfinder, and that'll pop open the Pathfinder window. You got all these different options. The one we're going to use right now is Unite. There are different options like minus front, intersect, exclude, divide, trim, merge. We've used merge before on some other tutorials, but we're going to use Pathfinder Unite. And this is going to verify like anything that might be overlapping, any shape that might overlap. It's going to kind of close it up and create one shape. That way we don't have any issues with it. Now, this may do nothing. It may totally screw it up. And if it totally screws it up, we got to figure out what else is going on with your image. There might be like stuff in the middle that you didn't think was there. So just be aware that that might change things dramatically. So now that we've done Unite, now what we're going to do is we're going to copy it. So Command or Control C, Command on a Mac, Control on a PC, but we're going to go Command or Control C to copy it. And then we're going to paste it in the back. And so it's Command or Control B. And what that does, and I'm going to turn on my layers panel so you can see what it does. Command or Control B, I pasted a new layer behind the original one. Now don't click on or off of anything. Make sure this back layer is still selected. And we're going to go to Object, Compound Path. My face is blocking it. Compound Path. And we're going to select Release. It also might work to do Command or Option, Command Shift 8, or Option Control Shift 8, depending on, I'm sorry, Alt Control Shift 8. It's easier to do this in the shortcut. I definitely encourage folks to use shortcuts if you have them available or if you're familiar with them. Sometimes shortcuts are just too much work, but we're going to go to Object, Compound Path, and Release. And you're going to see this, it turns into one solid shape. Trust me, it'll all make sense here in a little bit. Shift back over there. There we go. Now we want to do Pathfinder Unite. So we're going to do that again. Let's see. Yep. Pathfinder Unite. And so this creates one solid shape in that background. Now we're going to go to Object, Path, Offset Path. What we're doing is creating like a bounding box around it. We're kind of creating a line outline around the artwork to help us define the edges better, because that's one of the problems when you flip-flop or just do an inversion on the black and white image is you lose like your edge definition and stuff like that. So it works on some stuff, but most things you lose that edge definition. So this is something you can choose your own settings. I'm going to do 10 pixels. If you wanted a bigger, wider stroke around the outside of everything, you could do something larger, but I'm going to do 10 pixels and round. Click OK. And then I want to select just this layer above it. So I can either select it here, or just to make the process a little bit easier, I'm going to go to Option Command and the right bracket, the right square bracket. It's just above your return. And if you're on a PC, it's going to be Alt, Control, right close bracket. That's going to select the layer above, and we're going to delete it. There we go. And now I'm going to select all of the layers, everything we've done, and I'm going to use the Pathfinder minus front. And what that's going to do is the stuff's in front of it. So what was the shape before, it's going to get rid of it. So we're going to do minus front and be like, Jeremy, that looks ridiculous. And it does, but trust me. Then we're going to change the fill color to white. And now like magic, now we've got our raccoon with his eyes still fully intact and still black like the burglar bandit that he is. And that's it. And all we did was added this kind of like a little outline around the outside edge. You can make that bigger or smaller. You could just skip the offset path function in there if you didn't want an outline around it, but then you would lose some of the fidelity and the like definition of the edges of the graphic. So let's do this on another graphic just to show you guys that it works on multiple graphic types. Let's grab this one right here. And then again, something like this, if we just, sorry about that. If we just simply inverted this, I'm going to first put a black box in the background. Black, no stroke, and put it in the back. And oh, it does have a white background on it. So let's say that we just, whoops. Let's just take this layer here and we're going to change it to white and let's see what happens. So that would sort of work, except that the pupils are now white and we really want the pupils to be black. So this again is another case where just changing it from black to white doesn't work well. So do what we did before. We're going to hide that background. We're going to lock it and hide that background layer. And now let's just do those steps again. Like I said, I will add those steps to the comments below when this video is done. So I'm going to select everything. And this is a case where there's some shapes that overlay on top of each other. And so we definitely want to use that Pathfinder Unite function. That's just going to convert it all into kind of one shape or no shapes on top of each other. And then we're going to copy, Command or Control C, Command and Control B to paste it in the back. Again, not clicking on anything, so that back layer is still selected. We want to go to Object, Compound Path. I promise it's back there behind my noggin. And we're going to release the compound path. And then we are going to Pathfinder Unite again. That's going to create a solid background. Now we need to go to Object. And this next step is creating the outline around all of the stuff. So Object, Path, Offset Path. On this one, I'm going to go, 10 is a little bit smaller image. So 10 is actually kind of fairly big. We're going to go with that. But if you did the joints differently, let me show you what happens. So if you do miter, I want you to look at the whiskers. It sometimes changes kind of the look of the corners. It not every time. It depends on the situation and depends on the graphic itself. And then again, Option Command and the close right bracket to select the layer above it and delete it. If you're on a PC, Alt, Control, close right bracket, and that'll delete again that layer above. Now we're going to select everything. We're going to use the Pathfinder minus front, and then we're going to change our fill color to whatever the heck. Let's do a green Jaguar. And now when I turn on the background layer, boom. Instead of being white with black spots or black with white spots, which is what it would have looked like before, we've now got a good image. Obviously, probably don't want to do green. I'll do white. But now the pupils and the iris, those are all correct. Those all look good. Yeah, and you could do a bigger outline on it if you wanted, or smaller, whatever. It's kind of up to you. But that is how you properly invert a black and white design that was on a white background to go on to a black shirt or something like that. So yeah, I hope that helps. That is definitely one that stumped me for a long time on really how to actually convert that. I actually had a boot camp where one had like two groups. One was one gal by herself, and the other one was a large group of like 4 people from one company coming. And that the people from that one company had something come up, and so they couldn't come. So I had a boot camp that was just one gal, and we were trying to design something with raccoons because her husband thought raccoons were friggin' hilarious, which they kind of are, and also kind of creepy at the same time because they got like human hands, creepy human hands. But anyway, we tried doing something with it, but I didn't know how to convert that like that. So when we tried to invert the black and white image that was on white, it made their eyes not. They weren't wearing the black mask. They were wearing a white mask. So it didn't work great. So now I know how to do that. So that is a workflow that I am going to be including into the Illustrator course that we're going to be offering on DTF University probably after the first of the year. We're going to have a lot of new stuff launching on DTF University the early part of next year. Illustrator course, a Digital Factory course, a Photoshop course, and the DTF Bootcamp on demand. So lots of new stuff coming down the pipe from an educational standpoint. So if you have questions, please do me a favor and drop them in the chat. I am happy to answer them. Oftentimes we get either a 30-minute live stream or we get like an eternally long one because everybody's got 96 questions. But yeah, we don't have a ton of people on today, and maybe it's like just end of October, maybe fall breaks going on for some folks. But yeah, if you got questions, get them in the chat. I'm working on a couple of our new machines. Oh, if you have a Mongoose printer, whether it's like a Mongoose 1 or 2, we just started shipping the 3s. A few of those have been installed. But I do have an ICC profile for Mongoose printers with the DuPont ink. So if you've got one of those kind of printers, like a Mongoose 2 or Mongoose 1, let me know. I want to try to send you that ICC profile and see how it works with your machine if you're wanting to switch over to the DuPont ink. And I will tell you that DuPont ink continues to impress. We had a malfunction with a machine that I was testing. As you guys know, I like to break stuff, and broke it. And so it was exposed to the air for an extended period of time. Thought we maybe lost the heads, but I was able to get it back. I was getting literally no pull of ink through the head, and basically set it in some wet, capped it in some DuPont cleaning solution, and I've got almost a perfect nozzle check on my white. I'm still playing around with a little bit, but that DuPont continues to impress. It's pretty awesome stuff. So yeah, so if you got questions, drop them in the chat. Otherwise, I'll just wrap things up. Great. I mean, I got so many things going on, so I don't mind a shorter live stream, but I appreciate you guys watching. You know what we might try to do on the next one? We might play a little game show. I think I might set up a little game show that we can play. And maybe, just maybe, I can convince Andy to give us a prize for the person who wins it. I'll see. I'll maybe decide on that. But the next live stream will be October 29th. If you are going to Impressions in Dallas, Fort Worth, officially Fort Worth. But if you're going to Impressions Fort Worth, I'm teaching 2 classes. They're Thursday morning and Friday morning. I think like 10:45, I think is when my class is going. But come to the class. I'm doing 1 session on halftone and one on soft I knew I was going to get some kind of silly reaction thing. One on the how to get softer feeling transfers and kind of some pressing techniques and tips and tricks and stuff like that. So I'm teaching both of those. But if you're going to be at Impressions, come find me. I got a game I want to play with you guys, and we'll do that. So Joe's got a question. Joe, it is okay. Any question you got about DTF, I'll answer it. A lot of times it's easier for us on these live streams to cover like design type stuff just because it's an easier kind of demonstration, but we want to talk about everything. So do we have an ICC profile for each ink brand? No, because the ICC profile is film, ink, and machine specific. So if you have, let's say you're using our wide format CMYK, ICC profile that's designed on our Mongoose machine with our V2 film would not work if you have like a Coldesi machine or something from some other manufacturer. They behave different enough that it wouldn't be super helpful. Your best bet is finding some way to build out your own ICC profiles, whether you order like a Nix color scanner or you order like an X-Rite or something like that. Obviously, the X-Rite's more expensive, but it does a better, it's a more robust ICC scan, so it's a little bit better quality. But yeah, so I would love to be able to offer an ICC profile for like everything that we carry, but because it is specific to film, ink, and printer altogether, it's really not a possibility. We are working on some potential plan or options for being able to help people remotely profile stuff, but we're still trying to work some kinks out of it. I don't know if we're going to be able to, without trying some different software, I'm not sure that we're going to be able to figure out a remote version. I know some other folks in the industry have tried to do some remote profiling, and it's never panned out for any of them. So we'll see. But ultimately, if you want to get your machine dialed in, you should have some kind of spectrophotometer, whether it's the Nix with like the Digital Factory Nix color add-on that adds color profiling, or you have like an X-Rite with the i1 profiler. That's what I use for all of our profiles. Profiling is the X-Rite. But be prepared as you work on ICCs to have your brain melt sometimes because of just the volume of information and feeling like you understand it. But then when you start working on it, you're like, oh my gosh, I still don't understand all this color stuff. Seriously, ICC and color stuff, that's like doctorate level stuff. So no, I appreciate the question, Joe. And also thanks for tuning in. Yeah, anytime we do these live streams, I answer every question, any and every question, whether it's about a heat press or about a printer or about design or about whatever. I'll answer any question, even if you want to know like my thoughts on the baseball playoffs. I don't have any because I don't watch baseball. And but anyway, all right. If there's no other questions, if you do, pop on and ask them. But if there's no other questions, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you tuning in. Make sure you tune in 2 weeks. We're going to play some games. We're going to play some trivia, some DTF trivia. And a lot of the questions are going to be around stuff that we've covered in our videos on our channel and our live streams. Kind of think of like a Jeopardy format, but everybody's going to get to play. And we'll see if I can convince Andy to give us a prize of like a DTF Superstore gift card or something like that. We'll see. All right. Keep an eye out. I'll see you guys in 2 weeks or at Impressions in Fort Worth if you're there. Thanks so much for watching, guys. See you in a couple weeks.